Hello, you are now rocking with the KonnecT Show.
Figure out how to figure out how to turn my phone off for this situation.
All right, well, while we're getting yourself together, hello, everybody. Woo, woo. Welcome to the KonnecT Show. We in the building. All right, so um, we are currently in LA. So, with that being said, I am your host. I'm your host, Sapphire Westside McLovin. And who do we have here with us today?
No, no.
She's like,
I'm gonna I'm gonna say it like that every time.
no, no. And this is the KonnecT Show. With us being here in LA, I have some pictures and some videos. We're in a very nice space. I don't know if you can see the stainless steel counters back here.
The window.
Oh, ooh. I've got some artwork back there. Very nice. I'll be posting it on our show page so that you guys can see how we're living out here. But with that being said, it's hot.
It is not hot. We can have
It, I'm talking about when we left out and I was recording that video and you were like,
oh, it's hot outside. Yeah.
yes. So it's a little steamy, you guys. So just be
No,
mindful. Keep some water, keep a little towel. I'm seeing people walking around with pants on, with cowboy hats and little cowboy boots.
oh, that killed me. That really killed me.
Yeah, he had a beverage though. Maybe it was a cold beverage. You know what I mean? With all those clothes at over 90 degrees. Maybe it was a real cool beverage. But anyway, let us get into our toppings. Get it? Toppings instead of topics.
It was
Anyway,
or or something if we were like talking about pizza or something.
I mean, like we seasoning our conversation.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Anyhow, so with that being said, I'm about to prepare to release the Kraken. We watched that earlier. What was
Yeah, so
your?
nerdy.
It was what?
I said, yeah, so now you're all nerdy about it.
Oh, come on. You liked it too. Don't act like that.
I mean, I feel like not like constantly yelling release the cookie.
It wasn't constant. I mean, I only said like three. Whatever. All right. So we're gonna start off with the. Oh no no.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, what I will say is, um, as we get into some of these stories, because they start off cray cray. I'm not gonna hold you. They start off cray cray. You're just like, for real though. So
I hope for the best.
I'm gonna hope for the best too, because it's been cray cray. Anyway, um, yeah. So let's go ahead and get down with the get down. All right. So you know how terrible I am at this. Look at it. Look at his little face. Why are you making that face?
Oh,
Are you not enjoying?
he disappeared.
What was the pause for? That's like he was really gonna come get you. Anywho, I was telling you about this. This is the guy I was telling you about in New York, where they found the women's bodies.
Yeah, I should have known he was gonna look like this.
Why did you have to know that he had a issue?
Because, some people just, like if you, I don't know how to say this in a nice way. People
Please be
present
nice.
correctly in certain conditions. He looks like he isn't really worried about presenting himself in the correct space. He's got murder to worry about, I guess. I don't know. I just,
I mean, well, he did. Okay. So let me say, he did originally present himself like that.
okay, yeah. So that, yeah, wow. Definitely went a little.
So this is Mr. Rex Heuerman, um, 59, and he's a professional, as you can see. He's married, a couple kids. This is actually off the page for the position that he had. Was arrested in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, he's supposed to be, you know, a guy that you wouldn't think would kill multiple women and leave them on a beach.
I mean, yeah, no, he doesn't really like
Not in
looking
that
like that.
picture.
In that picture, no, he looks like we would have different political views, but he looks normal. Like he looks like just a busy man. But that other photo, I could tell there was some psychotic ideas in those eyes.
Well, they think there might be as many as 16 victims. So,
16. Ooh,
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna put him back here because that's what you were doing, and this is what you was feeling in your heart. This
rest
is this is
in
just oops, my
poker.
bad. This is just you showboating right here. You just pretending for us.
Yeah, rest in peace to those beautiful girls. May their souls rest beautifully because that is so sad. For
It was really sad. You know what I mean? Like this whole situation was just not cool. And the thing about it is I remember initially when this all started coming out, you know, talking to people and them being like, ah, sex workers. And it's like, you know, they're still people. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, they kind of put themselves in that position. Did they really?
Are you serious? People really are saying they put themselves in that position?
I have heard some opinions that was like, oh, when you get into that field, which don't get me wrong, there is a lot of danger linked to it. It's not like,
Yeah, we shouldn't blame the victim for them being murdered because half of them probably would even want to be in that position. Like none of them really want to be. People don't just do that just to do that. It's kind of like I have to do this to get somewhere better than nowhere.
or to get something, it really just depends.
Yeah,
But
so you really can't judge the victim at all for that. Just because they were sex workers doesn't suddenly make it okay to kill them.
and my thing too was, how do you know that they were sex workers? Like, what if they're just looking for a sugar daddy? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're not trying to stay in this professionally. Maybe they're trying to be like, it could be me and you. You don't know that that's really what they were in it for. That's the other issue. But it had been going on since 2010. He's been in the game for a minute.
And that's just so sad to me.
So, first of all, thank you, detectives and police agencies and all the agencies that came together to catch them. Jeez. Um, and I just be careful, y'all. We're gonna get into some more situations why I say that, but be careful, y'all. Like, just be mindful. Let people know who you're going with. Have somebody, know your location. I mean, I'm location phobic, so I don't share mine usually. But if I'm going to meet somebody or going somewhere, with somebody, I'll let them know, especially if we just started dating. I'll definitely be like, oh, I'm taking license plate pictures and let them see me. Like they look like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sending this to my sister. Yeah, just in case something goes down, buddy. All right. So let us go back to our pictures because this next one, okay, how I was thinking law enforcement, we're not gonna really be thanking them too much for this next one. And that's because they're in a Seattle police department. And at first I was thrown off because I was like, wait, where are y'all exactly? I didn't know what the little tick looking thing. I wasn't sure if it was a water bear, as they call it, a Telegrade, that was on the back. But that's for a music station, right? You go to the left, you see the flag, you go to the right, you see another flag. Here's my question. If I don't agree politically, I got to come to work and see this because this is supposed to be in a break. So it's like, why would you subject me to your flags on the wall? Because if you're
Yeah, I feel
political,
like your opinion should stay at home in a more personal space because why put your opinions and this don't look good for everything going on these days. That don't look good for your office in the first place. Like,
I want you to notice that this fist that I'm waving the arrow over, that was because of a young man who was shot multiple times by the police fleeing a robbery. That was at his like memorial site, you know, when they have something off to the side with the candlelight visuals and all that.
and they
Why
took it.
y'all, they, Hiller, not only did you took it, then you put a hat on it. And I can only imagine if it's that hat. Like, I don't know what kind of games y'all play, but that's weird to me.
That's just nasty. Like y'all had no business taking that. No business taking that.
A
I'm sorry.
dead person,
Yeah, no business taking that.
like, that's just strange on so many levels to me. Like, and what point are you trying to prove exactly? Like,
We can do what we want. Like I don't know. Cause I can't speak these people's language because I never got it.
I think that's just some hoodoo energy, to be honest with you. Listen,
People,
beyond how racist that looks, I just think that's some hoodoo ish. You know what I mean? Like, dead people, you taking their stuff, that's weird. And whatever happens with you afterwards, good luck. I hope
yeah,
you see some strange shadows and shit. I hope something following you, making strange noises. Like, that's not cool
that's just so disrespectful.
on so many levels. So, you know, the mother is basically very upset of the young man because this happened to a 19-year-old back in 2017. His name was Demarius Butts. So his mom is like, you know, I just think that's so hurtful
Yeah, of course it's gonna be hurtful. Like that's just so inconsiderate.
and crazy and hoojuy. And the thing that was even dumber about this is initially they have an ongoing lawsuit about graffiti laws after the arrest of protesters who wrote political statements on the wall with chalk. Then y'all got a Trump flag hanging up in there. Are you serious?
Chalk is crazy. Y'all could just water that off real quick. And oh
Y'all
God.
arrested people behind chalk, but y'all got a whole flag in the break room.
Those are the main people that talk about other people being sensitive and then want to start some lawsuits over some chalk. Okay, now. We sensitive.
Listen, listen. That's the main ones. Like, oh, these cupcakes. But y'all mad about chalk? All right, so moving on from the chalk, 'cause that was just a goofy moment. Then you got this
What
guy.
he do?
The love affairs that take place between me and you. All right, well, as you can see, that's a judge. He was sleeping with a prosecutor. They had a case going on. Now the whole case got dismissed. I was like, don't y'all watch Law and Order? Goodness.
Okay, I'm sorry, but is it ever that serious to be sleeping with the prosecutor?
Let me tell you how much more. I don't know if he told her all the details, but if he didn't tell all the details, this would have had me embarrassed because I would have been like, once I found out this additional information, that he also has been accused of sexual misconduct with a couple other prosecutors.
He just can't keep his hands to himself.
Well, I'm not going to say prosecutors, three female attorneys. For real? So wait a minute. Let me just get this slick. Oklahoma, y'all doing it out here. Oklahoma Court of Appeals orders a whole new trial for a dependent, a defendant. His name is Robert Leon. Hashigan, wasn't really sure how to say that. The third, but he was sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of first-degree murder. Somehow, his attorney appeals after it finds out that he's having sex with one of the trial prosecutors on the case. And then the judge, Henderson, resigns after, like I said, he had three female attorneys come forward with sexual misconduct allegations. He wasn't charged. I'm sure we all understand why not. And he said two of the women was consensual. Well, what about the third?
He didn't even see all three of them. He was like, well, technically, two of those. That one that I could surely be arrested for, don't matter. Two of them were okay. So it's okay.
They was about that life. Now that third one, there was some drinks involved. I can't really say for sure.
I put a little sprinkle in there, but that's not a big deal. That's crazy. That's crazy. There's a lot
How?
just
I got, let me tell you about this one though.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
He was actually over a criminal case as a judge of an ex Oklahoma City police officer who got life after convicted of raping and sexually victimizing women while on his beat in Oklahoma City. So the judge nasty, the cop was nasty, the prosecutor was all y'all just getting down in Oklahoma City. Are we hard pressed
It's some heat or
in
something.
Oklahoma?
Must be some heat going on. Like
Not
Cass, because what's going on?
in Oklahoma. Like
Yeah,
how this
they're bored. I don't think there could have possibly anything going on in Oklahoma, so they must be bored.
don't say that. I'm sure there's plenty going on. And to my Oklahoma viewers, wherever you are, probably in Oklahoma right now, you let me know. Not in this comment section. I had to have somebody shut down the comment section because they was getting a little wild inside themselves. This is back in the day. They were saying some weird things, and I was like, that's weird. So the comment section has since moved on. But you can always find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I was going to go to Threads, but then, we did some more research on it and we were like, not Threads. Only because of give them some time. You know what I mean? It turned into a moment where if your Instagram account is connected to your threads, which it has to be, when you want to shut your threads down, you have to shut down your Instagram account too, or you have to just disable the Threads account, but you can't completely get rid of it. And I'm like, the way that they Instagram hack accounts, I don't know if I want to leave Threads. I don't know if I want to leave it dangling out there like that. Like it's still connected to my account in some way. So that's why I haven't gone there yet. We'll see how it goes. Anyway,
The water.
no, I get thirsty. Mm. Especially after I wish I had one of the sandwiches.
We'll have a sandwich after we do this show. How about that? I gotta finish mine. Ooh, I didn't finish those fries though. Fries about to be nasty.
No, I'll put them in the pan.
Okay, moving on. Yeah.
All right, sorry, y'all. We get excited about food sometimes. Don't mind us. We went to Red Chicks and things went down. I took some pictures of that too. Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry. I can show you the Red Chicks pictures later, but it was delicious. Mm. Look at him. Huh. He looks like the villain. Wait, you gotta do it again when I stop sharing. But he looks like the villain in like a 1998 sci-fi action thriller.
You think he Batman for real? Like, why are you staring like that?
Like very intense and like, yes,
Yes, to this guy.
I want to see things righted when I've clearly been wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's got,
Yeah, there's some vengeance in those eyes.
doesn't it look like he's really pissed?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he just needs a hug. No, I wouldn't hug him, but somebody I'm sure would
Uh-oh,
hug.
you mom. So I would hug you.
I mean, I wouldn't. I was gonna say maybe he needs a hug. I mean, I wouldn't hug him, but I'm sure somebody out there is like, I'd hug all of that girl. You know, you know, yeah. Well, let me tell you about him. He's another cop.
Here we go.
It's been
No shit.
all about the judicial system for the last few stories. Yeah.
Girl.
All right. So this intense staring man. Good.
I gotta
Yeah.
do my
Look at you. Look at my little I like to stare into. So cute. Yeah, so he's a Las Vegas cop that apparently, had been in part of some casino heist. Uh, about $165,000 during about three casino heists. And one of them, he was armed with a department issued gun. Oh, and it was loaded.
all of these
So,
are sounding like movies today. Straight out of a movie. Okay. We got the nasty judge in Oklahoma.
and the cop and the prosecutor. But yeah, the judge and the cop in Oklahoma.
And we got this dude doing heists. Like, I
Just,
didn't know people actually did those. That sounds like a movie thing. I didn't know that was like actual.
and to do it with your police officer gun is like, wow.
That's kind of stupid, actually. It's so easy to find you.
Like Caleb. Ooh. So he's 35. He could be in prison for life. Um,
Is it worth it?
because, huh?
I was just saying, like, is it worth it? I know some people like do stuff because they really need the money, but I just never felt like it was worth it 2 years jail for that long.
Um, I mean, in the long run, not your whole life. Your whole life isn't going to be worth 165,000. Now it's gone. I mean, whatever you were going to do with this money, it's over for you now. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the fact that you were a police officer, though, this is bananas.
Truly, truly. I hope he reevaluates his decisions.
And then the younger brother testified against him for more than 3 hours, saying how they pulled off the first heist in the series. But he
That
only participated in that robbery. Uh, the police officer, Caleb, carried out the other two heists alone after that.
so he just like kind of like snitched on him.
Hell yeah, for 3 whole hours. Like you and your younger brother. I guess he
Which
said I wasn't taking that L for you, homie. I was only here for one of these.
I mean, I guess, but dang, our relationship must be not all that. But still, for life, I don't think I'd be all up in there deep either. Talk about, oh yeah, we did this together and everything. Nope, I was here for one thing.
I just grabbed a Slurpee. It was like, good luck, homie. I don't even know who that other person is in that video.
That he cried. I ain't know what for, but it's
I didn't know what he was about to do. He said, come in here. I'm about to do like a little blackjack. Oh, okay. Then all of a sudden, next thing I know, he was like, pull your little hat down. Oh, is it cold in here? And then he
is it
pulled out a gun. I don't know anything. I didn't see anything. I didn't do anything.
yeah, no,
But
that's funny.
but they say that the cop was a gambling addict. So they said he had a crush of death. And since he was a cop, he had a particular set of skills and knowledge about robberies as law enforcement officer. So he used that to kind of do what he did. But obviously it didn't work out because Caleb, Mr. Rogers, he still
I
got
mean,
caught.
you go to like don't police officers only do schooling for like half a year before they get on the field? Which I feel like is not enough time as it is.
Not considering that I go in with no weapons to shape minds and have to go to school for years, test for years, learn different information, how to shape minds. You get to go in for a few months and come out with a gun. Like, how does that make sense?
But this stuff happens because it's like there's no way you know what you're fully doing. It's 6 months. If these police this bad, for y'all to have this 6 months. Are
But
we right?
what I will say is that I think sometimes once they're working a job for a little while, they feel like, oh, I got this. Or that ex Oklahoma police officer wouldn't have been sexually assaulting women on his beat. So I think sometimes they get above or feel like they're beyond the law. You know what I mean? Like, oh, who gonna catch me? I'm a cop.
I
So,
mean, yeah. Because honestly, low-key, you could kind of get away with more stuff if you're a cop. It's like, oh, well, I'm here for the law, I'm not against it. And then people are like, yeah, of course. So, I mean,
yeah,
it
because
takes,
he could have been, if he was a on duty cop, he could have been investigating his own robberies, moving evidence around, deleting stuff. You know what I mean? If he was smart, he should have waited until he was a detective. Don't let me give anybody any ideas.
yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
more of the police.
Oh my gosh. The ever police today.
It's like they just kept coming. They just kept coming this way. They was like, guess what? And then guess. And then I got this too. I was like, dang. All right. So,
The better, hopefully.
mm,
Okay, let's just get into it
mm, mm,
then.
mm, mm. So he's actually over the police department, but doesn't work directly with them. You know what I mean? He like oversees their conduct or whatever. I guess that's why he thought he could get away. It's all this either the money or the sex is what I'm coming to realize.
That's like the
But
main thing you want, food, money, and sex.
food, money, and sex. So he's in the car with a known prostitute when they pull him over, and he's like, No, no, it's not what you think. See, she was just trying to get in my car. And I was like, oh, me, oh, my. And then that's what had happened. I wasn't doing nothing with this prostitute. I said, are y'all serious right now? Y'all serious?
One excuse
Yeah. Well, it was a hell of an excuse.
that probably didn't work for nothing. Let's be
It
real.
definitely didn't. He still caught a charge, and he's gonna end up resigning as I think he's the commissioner. I'm
At
having
first,
trouble right now getting in for some reason. And that's the problem because it's like doing some weird stuff.
at first I was like, what's wrong with being called a sex worker? And then I remembered that sex workers aren't necessarily legal. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he wasn't supposed to have that on.
Yeah. I keep forgetting.
Um,
I feel like somewhere I heard that they're like legal and like the government protects them.
okay. So in and Google this while I'm saying it because I'm having some issues right now. I think it's in Nevada. There are certain like the Bunny Ranch. You can go in and you can legally get the sweet loving of a paid worker.
I think I heard it was in Europe somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure they have them in Europe, but I'm talking about the United States.
She said the sweet loving. I can't describe things so like differently compared to so many other people.
Oh, yeah, that's his name, Brian Ferguson. So, yeah, he's a member um, and former chair of Detroit's Police Oversight Board. But like I said, he got caught with a sex worker. And then that's what he decided to say to people, though. I'm not going to say anything else about this because it's a misunderstanding.
Man,
Did you find out where it is yet?
no, I can't really Google stuff on my phone because then my screen will go away.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let me Google it then because we don't want your screen to go. And my screen apparently is just breaking down on me because I'm hitting oh, okay, there it is. All right, Bunny Ranch, I think it's in Nevada. Bunny Ranch. Nevada. Yep, I was right. It's called the Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Carson City. So you can go there, and I feel like there's another place that's near there. And it's a legal licensed brothel. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I was also doing a little. I got my tablet to turn on, so I was looking too.
Oh. Well, yeah, I just told you.
Yeah, I was looking at if the one in Europe was right or not.
Oh, well, you can keep looking that one up. I'm sure it is, though, it's Europe. I feel like that's just what Europe does.
Be
I feel
nice.
like they definitely, no, I just feel like they'd be like, yes, we're definitely down for this.
Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and Austria all have some form of legalized sex work.
I told you. I mean, I'm just saying, it's Europe. I feel like in Europe, they'll be like, yeah, I'm about that life.
I feel like Europe just like I don't know treats people better than we do here.
A lot of times, yeah. I mean, how often do you hear, but not to say that they investigate to the same extent. How often do you hear about a serial killer sex traffic worker over in Europe? But that also might be because it's legal. So they may have better systems in place for people to look out for one
Yeah,
another.
'cause that means like the government is still treating you not like a criminal. So you're gonna get paid attention to.
I don't know why they treat the sex worker like a criminal anyway. I mean, he should be treated the same way if that's the case.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll let them go with a slap on the wrist, but arrest the girl. Why are you arresting her? He was the one to pay for it. She wouldn't be out there if somebody wouldn't pay him for it.
Exactly. In Europe, just, they food proportions just better and not filled with crap. Everything just better over there.
All right. So let's start this next story off with me just giving a little background information. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you know my first place of employment?
What?
The first place I worked, do you know where I was?
I don't remember. Oh, oh, literally the first place you were. Yes, okay. No, yeah.
I mean, technically, it wasn't the very first place I worked because I did work with my parents first. So, my dad had a restaurant. He had a gift store with like leather goods, a bar. I used to help work the books for that. My babysitting services were. So technically I was working at home, but I also ventured out to get my very first job here at McDonald's because I was like, you're not giving me enough money, Daddy. And I need to be able to get some other things. So he was like, you don't need to work. I was like, I definitely do. And so eventually he said yes. So I got a worker's permit and I would walk. And it was about a mile away. And it was at the local McDonald's. I was like 15. So what happens is when I saw this sign, I was like, "What y'all playing? No, y'all playing."
This is a no-quit restaurant.
So they want employees instead of quitting to just speak with management, and that an employee. But how can you? This is what was funny. It says an employee cannot quit until he or she talks to the restaurant manager or the area supervisor. How can you stop me? If I just stop coming in,
I also think that is so silly that like a manager or something can fire you on the spot, but when you want to quit, you got to give a 2 week notice. How is that fair? Give me 2 weeks to know that I'm about to lose my job. I need to know so I can go find another one. Like, it's so silly to me. Like, oh yeah, just get out of here. Like, well, wait, is McDonald's struggling with employees? I feel like they should not be struggling with employees.
I mean, apparently they are. They must be. If you got to put this sign in here, they must be. But here's the thing I'm also going to question your management because if you have to get to the point where you're like, talk to management, because a lot of people do try to talk to management. So if you're at the point where you have to essentially post, hey, go talk to him. And if that doesn't work, go talk to this one. That means that 9 times out of 10, somebody, one of the managers, probably isn't really managing adequately, which I've run across a lot. Like everybody is not good with their management skills. And then what, you gonna start holding employees hostage? I just want to know how you gonna tell them they can't quit.
Yeah, like you can't like legally be like, no, you gotta stay here. Like, no, they could walk out the door and never come back, and you gonna quit them if you gonna fire them.
Because all you can do is encourage them to speak with their manager. Hey, upon hiring, let them know that these are the mediation processes. But I mean, I got fired for taking the wrong sandwich. So sometimes y'all need to be a little more diligent because
got
I was
fired.
a very dedicated employee.
You got fired for taking the wrong sandwich.
So at the time, at the location I was at, you were allowed to have a small sandwich for free. If not, certain sandwiches didn't count and you had to pay for them. I don't remember which ones counted, which ones didn't. Now, probably didn't give two issues back then. And I was like, yeah, give me one of those because most of the time, sandwiches are sitting anyway, and you're throwing them in the trash anyway. So just give it to me. And they were like, what's in that box? It was a new manager.
I just want to know what goes on in LA because
Is
this
it a
happened.
motorcycle? Maybe it's a motorcycle convention. It
I
sounds like it. And you hear
I
all the
kind of like
honking? Go look. Okay, so like we said, and I'm going to mention again, we are here in downtown LA, and we're hearing rumbling and what sounds like a bunch of motorcycles.
yeah, it was like it was a bunch of motorcycles.
But we've heard a lot. So we stay in the burbs, right? We don't get this kind of
Promotion.
ambiance until we go off to, New York, Newark, Philly, wherever. So being down here with the sirens and the random car honking and now what sounds like a motorcycle convention, we're just not used to it. So we're all intrigued and looking out the windows like, wait, what? Who
What's
is
going
it?
on?
What happened, Paul? On the farm.
I mean, I'm entertained. You know,
I'm entertained too.
I look out there sometimes and I'm like, there's fire trucks at 3 a.m. just going around. That's crazy. Like I would have never. But yeah, I guess that's normal for a city, but for this is too much noise sometimes. I gotta put on some rain sounds on TV and do my best.
I was putting pillows over my head, like, because I'm used to an ambulance or whatnot if I'm in the city. I'm not used to them this loud. I don't know if it's the windows or what, but it sounds like it's blaring right there. And I can only imagine we're on the eighth floor. If we were on the first floor, oh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be so annoying.
Yeah.
But they're probably used to it. Thing like it probably doesn't bother them like it bothers us.
I mean, you're probably right, but it's just, I don't know.
It would still be annoying, I'm sure, but probably not as annoying as we would probably feel with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's called noise pollution. You would get used to it like you do other kinds of pollution. But we saw a guy who was cussing because he saw a DoorDash rainbow bike and he was like, I'm gay. I want to get F in the A. You know what F and A stands.
I was so tickled by him. Like I should not have been tickled by him, but like he really likes me. Like,
You're not going to be taken by this one.
oh
We'll
Lord.
get back to him in a minute. This is why I tell. So he's at a mall. You see him. Do 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 do. Just walking around, smiling,
It's
looking
one
normal in a mall. And then bam, a 14-year-old nearly escaped abduction.
this guy tried
You
to
know?
abduct a little kid.
So he ended up having to turn himself in after, his lawyer arranged it.
Dang, his lawyer was like, "You ain't gonna get up this long, buddy. It's over for
No,
you."
you see all these cameras. So the
Yeah,
girl was shopping with friends and you know, something happens. You know how it goes. Like maybe I'm gonna go look at this. Ooh. And then the rest of y'all over here looking at this. And now y'all started to walk off without me. Um, and now I'm by myself. So one of those situations. The reason I'm saying that this is so important because I've been having this conversation with people lately. Please be so mindful when you're by yourself as a young lady. This trafficking thing is real. Like, this is not a game. Now, I originally saw things taking place in the movie Taken, where the dad was like, I have a particular set of skills. And I was like, oh, you know, but we all don't have a particular set of skills. So keep your head on the swivel. You know, you never know what somebody's goal, intention, whatever is, where these people come from. They were talking about this a lot when I was doing social work in Toledo, because where it is there is 75 and like 275 or something like that. So truckers would pick up runaways, drop them off wherever after doing whatever. Now, what is she gonna do to survive?
that is just so sad and unfortunate. Cause like I know when I go out with my friends, we always stick together no matter what. If you want to go look at this, we're gonna go with you. If you gotta go to the bathroom, we're going to the bathroom with you because we can literally can't afford to split up anymore. It's not safe at all.
It ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe.
And I always share my location with my dad wherever I'm going. I'm not one of those kids that want to be independent and free. I don't care. I'm not about to get kidnapped. I share my location with him and Jace. Y'all gonna know where I'm at.
She said, Jay, he all the way in California. Like,
No, because he can really do something. Like it's I told him, like, here's my dad's information. If something happened to me and you see that and he don't, text him now.
immediately
Immediately.
let him know. Yeah, it's important. Like I said, you just never know what people's intentions are. And that's why when we started off with the first story and they're like, oh, they're sex worker, I'm like, well, how do you know that they all were actual sex workers? You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to these things. And how do you know he didn't stop somebody and be like, you need to make a little fast cash? You know, I'm looking for a little sugar baby. Oh, I need a sugar baby. And, went off and did whatever. Like, at the end of the day,
And a
just
lot of this are forced into being sex workers. So it's even like even if you are a sex worker, you probably didn't want to be in that position.
they got signs up now at airports and bathrooms, like, watch out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a thing now. It's becoming international, that they take you from one country and send you to another country. And like I said, I knew what was going on in Ohio. Then I saw that movie Taken, and I was like, oh, it's a movie. And now it's coming out like, oh no, this has really been going on. This is wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and me being on the internet for as long as I have, I've heard a lot of stories already, like a lot.
And you tried to walk to the store by yourself.
I was even thinking about it. I was like, it's just down the street. But then, yeah, when we talk about this more, I'm like, ooh, never mind.
Not unless you got some mace on your finger. Like, you got to carry it on the ring.
Not even. Let me just go with you. I'm not even struggling to take the meat. Oh,
No, you got to carry it like this here. You got to have it under the finger, already ready for the whip
you know,
and push.
I saw this mom. put this little like stretchy band thing. So like she has a band and then it like coils to her son's wrist. And the comment section was talking about she had her son tied to a leash, basically. She's protecting her child because things like this happen. It's not like he literally got a leash on, y'all. It's on his wrist. He can go walk around, touch the blah blah blah, and she can still make sure he's by it. Like, what are you talking about? Judging that mother for being a smart mother.
And then sometimes they run off. I knew somebody. Oh, remember the guy from Brooklyn with the bad son that came to visit? And I was like, no, y'all got to go because your son is rude. So the son ran away from the mom one time in the store on purpose. She couldn't find him for over half an hour, losing it. Security is helping, looking, and the whole time he's hiding. I told him, you're a good one. No, you're not. I told him, I ain't call him a good one. I was like, honestly, when I put him out, I was like, and this is why he acts like this. This is why he does things like runs away from his mother because he has no discipline. And she should have beat the brakes off of him when he did it. But you know what? Both of y'all can go. You and your son. Because if you can't abide by what we do in the household over here, which is real simple, and just be respectful,
Fuck
holla.
that, because he was being all types of weird.
He was mean. He would like do little stuff. Like I remember one time he like poked you and you were crying randomly, and we're like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "He poked me," and I wanted to smash his face in it, but I'm a reasonable person, and I wasn't gonna just smash it. I just wanted to smack it, just like a nice little. How you like that poke?
That's
Is that a
not
poke that you like?
that is not little. That's smacking a grown man. That type of smack will knock out a grown man. She said,
Who you poking at? Who?
so violent. How are you a teacher?
We don't have to talk about my other occupations. Let's just move on with the story, shall we? I don't beat the kids. They're not mine.
She said, take my
Be like, silly. Color purple. Beat up. This guy is on the loose in Pennsylvania. He made it out of jail.
It's always the wet heads.
Very hot looking, right? And not like hot, but hot. He was on the equipment for the exercise equipment and like did the old school cartoon tie up some sheets and clothes into a knot, throws it over, boom, jumps out. Now he's in the Pennsylvania wilderness, just out in the wilderness. If you know anybody just going out into the wilderness, you may want to just warn them, hey, note to self, let me see exactly what part of PA this is so I
So
can better.
the cloth, the tying up the cloth really killed me because it's like, haven't y'all done stuff to prevent this from happening by now? Like it's a thing for a reason because it keep happening.
Maybe they didn't think it was real.
Well,
I
y'all
don't know.
go now.
All right, so what he is a homicide suspect. That's why this has become a thing. Um, but they believe that he has limited survival skills because he had military reserve training. He's in northern Pennsylvania after he fled Warren County Jail. So, yeah, went through a window, old school jail betting.
That reminds me. So downtown, like once you start going downtown Flint, there's a whole like, it's not a whole prison, but there's a jail there. And sometimes like when I'm driving by it at night, I look up and I just see like inmates stare out the window. And I'm like, Dad, we live real close. We live real close. It's like they're not gonna escape. Don't worry. I'm like,
Oh, how can you? Okay, well, tell him about this story when you talk to him and let him know that this guy is being held on $1 million bail and was charged with kidnapping, burglary, and other counts. He's considered very dangerous. They
And he
also
just,
oops, what?
I said, he just out there enjoying
I,
his wilderness adventures.
they also accused him of abducting an older couple in Pennsylvania, trying to evade capture before he was arrested down in South Carolina. Like, yo, just note to self and tell your daddy this. They're not gonna escape. Like you never
Or you really don't. Because I don't know why, but it creeps me out when I see them staring out the windows and stuff.
you can see them.
Yeah, there's like giant windows with bars, and you could just see them like holding on to the bar,
Oh
staring.
no. Oh
Yeah,
no. And what are you doing where you can see them?
on the passenger side,
Oh,
just
you're
looking.
in a car. It's really close.
It's like 5 minutes away.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not a good look.
not at all. I mean, they probably wouldn't come to our little quiet patch of neighborhood, but
But you never know.
you know, uh-oh, there's the Lord.
Tell people what you want them to know about you before we go. We'll be back tomorrow with the second half of our show.
I really like the color pink. It doesn't look like it, but I really like it.
Okay, Nunu. Thank you.
What? You said let them know song?
I mean, you're
You
right.
know, I don't drop on social media. You know that. So,
I wasn't expecting that. I just thought maybe you'd give like a, I don't know, a word of advice.
oh, where that you could have said that then.
I said, what would you like the people to know before you go?
I like pink. That's different from a word of advice.
So, as you know, you can find the KonnecT Show, and that's Connect with a K.
TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, occasionally Facebook, YouTube. It's always me forgetting some. Twitter
Roku.
and a Roku.
And we're also on several podcasts. Yeah, show them the Roku remote. We're on several podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and some other places. So we so appreciate our loves. Oh my gosh, we get such love from you guys. So appreciate it. You can always send your interview requests to thekonnectshow@gmail.com. And that's in the description below, along with everything that we have on our YouTube page. And it's in our credits that roll at the end. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, holla! Oh, and if you ever have any stories you want me to cover, sometimes I get people to send me stuff like, talk about this. And I'm like, okay. So you are,
No, no.
and I'm Sapphire. What's up, McLovin? And what? And we're bringing you so excited to have you come with us today on this version of the KonnecT Show.